gentlemen, we got a special guest in the building, man. We got actor, man. This dude is just suave, man. When I was checking through his, like your pictures, everything, I'm like, this dude is clean, man. Like sharp, dressed to the T. Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause for actor Adam Mendoza. Round of applause.
Hey, thank you. I
Yes,
appreciate it.
sir. Yes, sir, man. How you doing this morning, bro?
Doing all right, man. I'm here enjoying my coffee. Excited to be here. Have a little conversation with you guys. Sounds like a good time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You a coffee drinker, man? That's what get the day started, huh?
Yeah, man. I'm kind of addicted, to be honest. Caffeine is my it's my vice.
Yeah, nah, ain't nothing wrong with that, man. My our other friend Chris, who's on here, yeah, he definitely, yeah, he's a coffee connoisseur. So yeah, man. So no, I get it, dude. So Adam, so where are you originally from? You don't mind me asking?
Born and raised in LA.
Really?
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah,
Nice, nice, nice.
yeah. I grew up right there. It's called Elysian Valley, right next to the Dodger Stadium. It's a small little neighborhood, tucked in right between the LA River, the infamous LA River,
Yeah.
and the 5 freeway. It's just cool little cutout, small knit community. Just a stone throw from downtown LA, stone's throw from the Dodger Stadium. So yeah, I grew up a LA city boy, and all the fun stuff that comes along with that. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Just
sir.
all those cool LA experiences.
Yes, sir, man. So are you a Dodgers fan? Are you I mean y'all right there, so
Right. You would think so. So like the rest of my life, like everything else, watching the tradition. I know that the smart thing. I always root for the home team, of course, go
yeah,
Dodgers. But in all reality, I'm just not into sports. I'm not really not into any of it except for like the combat sports. I do like to watch some boxing, UFC. But again, I don't follow it enough to tell you who my favorite fighter is or who I like for next year. But I do like watching some of that stuff. But as far as baseball, football, stuff like that, not really. Never really been my cup of tea.
Gotcha. So the thrill of competition when it comes to hand to hand or just competing with fighting. That's yeah. I got you.
Yeah.
Gotcha. No, there's nothing wrong with that. That's I'm able to like I'm just like you. Like there's some people that I just watch it just for the sport or just to look at techniques and everything.
Mhm.
But I can't really tell you anybody now who's you. I'm like I don't know, man. But we're gonna enjoy the show, So I'm like,
Yeah, I can't get into it. I can't get into the boxing or the UFC. I mean, unless it's a big fight. I know Tank had a fight last weekend that everyone is still talking about. So, you know, I'm
Yeah.
kind of like one of those. Like if it's a big pay-per-view fight, then I probably tune in and watch it.
Right. That's me when it comes to maybe like basketball or if it's like a big playoff or something, I might
Yeah.
tune in and just, see it. Because at least with basketball, that's fast paced.
right.
I don't have patience for like
The slow.
baseball. I really don't. Even football, I really don't have the patience for it. But once in a while, basketball, because it's so fast, I can enjoy a game, out with the fellas or whatever. But yeah, I've always been, ever since a kid, I got made fun of a lot from elementary school. I've always just been a big reader. I've
Yeah.
always enjoyed reading, fiction, nonfiction,
Mhm.
just all over the place. So yeah.
No, that's cool. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mike.
So I mean, well, let's start right there. What started you on your journey of acting?
Um, well, I mean, I think it started for sure with the books, right? With storytelling and just really being wrapped up in that world of imagination. Um, and then later on, I'm an 80s, 90s baby. So for the first time, VHS was a thing where you could go, what's up?
Yes, sir.
You could,
Yeah.
yes. First time anybody could really go to a video store and just pick. And so when we finally got a VCR, that was like a big life change for me.
Mhm.
And so every weekend, mom would take me to go and we different movies. So I fell even more in love with it. But I really didn't pursue it or think of it as a real life goal until way later. My sister, she began acting like over 20 years ago. And I
Really?
remember when I was just a little kid running around the street, little troublemaker. I was about 15 and I had like that look, that little bit of a sinister look.
Hmm.
My sister was like, dude, you should get into acting because she was doing background at the time. And I was just like, what are you talking about? It was like she was speaking a foreign language to me. And she's like, dude, you make so much money. You're just kicking back. They feed you this and that. And I was like, whatever. So it was like, the better part of 20 years later, I was a grown man. And she approached me again. And I was just, going from like, I've worked in the laborers union. I've, worked in fast food, gas stations, liquor stores. I was just bouncing around. And she approached me again. And this time, I don't know, for whatever reason, maybe it was the way she presented it to me, but it just sounded attractive. And she had pointed out to me that, because I was always writing like these short stories and like trying to make a novel. And she's like, you have it in you, just give it a shot. And so I made the decision, and I think it was like 2012. I made the decision. Now, when I say that, is to say, in order to do this, you got to really believe that you can. Like, belief is like a big, heavy thing. So I hadn't done nothing. I had never even done an audition, didn't have anything going. All I had done was I had taken headshots. But for like a full year, I was calling myself an actor. Even though I was like, I had my own little painting business. I'm painting apartments and this and that. But anyone asked me, hey, so what do you do? Like, oh, I'm an actor. I would just say it and just say it. And then I got my first gig as a background actor. And that kind of, then it was like, oh, I'm chilling on set, getting like a decent check for the day, not really working hard. I'm used to like labor, so. And when I was on set in background, there's a lot of downtime. So I was just watching. I'm just soaking everything up. I'm watching, watching them get their mic put on. Okay. I'm seeing, when they walk and talk, they put a little mark on the floor to see. I'm seeing little things, and it started to snowball from there. What I would say that the key thing for anybody, really, what it kind of boils down to when you're starting is get a mentor. You have to have a mentor, because if you're talking to your cousin who's really good at being like a mechanic or something, he can't teach you how to become a good actor. He's not going to be able to teach you how to take viable, workable headshots. So really the key, and that was a blessing that I had, is my sister. She was my mentor, for many years. And that's going to be the key, is finding a mentor. And I mean, I guess that in itself is a challenge, because this is a very competitive business. So to find a working actor that is willing to take you under their wing and show you how to get at least to where they've gotten to, that's the major goal that someone should, if they're just starting out. You don't need to know somebody that won an Oscar, bro. You don't need that. You just need somebody who's at a level that you haven't achieved yet. And when you like, how'd you get on TV? Just as a background dude, you tell them how to get on. And then when you're in background, you're going to meet other actors. And maybe this other dude, once in a while, he gets a principal role and he has lines. Oh, how'd you do that, bro? And you start, like they say, iron sharpens iron. So you got to surround yourself with like-minded people,
Yes, sir. That's what I'm talking about, man. That's crazy that you mentioned that too, like using the books and fiction and everything like that, because it took me, like, it's crazy that, like, how I'm in a little bit in the sports now, a lot more, but I wasn't really into it when I was a kid. I was always like, someone like you. My imagination is what helped me to create these characters and short stories and do character voices and everything else. So that's crazy that you mentioned that. That's where it really kind of like spawned right there, and then took on a life of its own as you got older, and your sister and everything else. And then I guess you kind of was getting your college prerequisites right there when you go into different jobs as well and learning everything else.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of truth to that. Like, I think some of us have probably heard our parents say, working those types of jobs that'll help you build character.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of truth to that, especially if you ever did like customer service, like working at a liquor store from the 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. shift in Vegas. I've done that. You start running so many different personalities and characters, and you have to learn how to manage those, which is a cool life skill to have. But really, when I started to take acting serious and I got into school, I started studying with Ivana Chubbuck Studios.
Nice.
And I realized in there, when you do your scene and then you break down your scene, hey, what was your internal monologue, what was your your replacement items, this and that. And so they want you to use personal life experience. Oh, if the character had a massive loss, they want you to like, okay, when was the time where you experienced loss in your life, yada yada.
Yeah.
So I realized a lot of the people that came from all over the world and all over the country to be in this acting class, no disrespect, but
Right.
a lot of them, they came from upper middle class. They came from money where their parents can afford to put them up for a year in LA,
Yeah.
and can afford to send them to a big acting studio for a year, and they can afford all that. But what I noticed is those people, they really, really struggled to dig into their life experience and find challenges, loss, pain. And I was like, oh, I'm like
Right here, man.
This gonna be very natural. Someone told me that that's not a good way of acting, because I had an experience like that when my first role that I did. I had to pull some tears out, and so I had to go into that place, So I went to training to try to not have to do that, where you can still perform, but you don't have to harm yourself as well to get to that emotional state.
That's real. That is real, because it can be painful, and there has been times where if I'm doing a very emotional scene, particularly in class, because you're there, you're with all the you just want to give it your all, and afterwards I have felt myself feel physically sick. So there is truth in what you're saying, and I've heard that. I do study Stanislavski's method.
Yeah.
I think it is a viable tool. It works. At the same time, there is techniques in there. I think a lot of times people talk about method and they don't talk about the techniques that are given to you to let that stuff go afterwards.
Right.
That's a big part of it too, in order to, like you're saying, to be healthy with it. Because I would think you'd age yourself before your time by constantly going through these deep, tragic, emotions. There is some danger to that. And in my particular case, right? In my particular case, I realized that maybe it is in some ways harmful, and I have to find ways to kind of reconcile that, or mitigate some of the damage.
Yeah.
But I realized it's like, I've been accused of this before, where people, especially, we're having like a challenging conversation, where they'll tell me I'm just, oh, well, you're an actor, so you're just dramatic and emotional, and it's kind of used against me in that way. But my rebuttal to that is, it's the opposite. It's because I'm kind of dramatic and emotional, and that's just who I am at my core. And so I became an actor, and it worked for me.
Yeah.
It's sometimes I call it the Misfits Club, because
Yeah.
I bump into people, who really have a love for it.
Yeah.
And I realize that they have some of those. They have some of that sadness in their eyes too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I get it.
Yeah. Nah.
But yeah, it's a real thing, man. It is a real thing,
Yeah.
and probably not the healthiest way, especially if someone doesn't know the techniques to let some of that stuff go.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up too. Like the 'cause, like, I'm glad you. Yeah, I'm really glad you brought that up too, because like they teach us Stanislavski and Meisner and all these other techniques, but they don't really teach us how to like you said, let it go, like calm down from it, and like let what on the scene be on the scene, and then walk away from it and mentally get yourself back to you yourself. So yeah, thank you for bringing that up. That's something else that a lot of instructors should look into when they teach these methods and everything. So man, Adam, man,
Yeah.
bro, thank you. Yeah.
Oh, happy to share, man. This is fun.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, man. Yeah, we're actors too as well. So like Mike was mentioning. So we yeah, man. We be right there with you. You got that the misfit group right there with you, bro.
Yeah,
Right
man.
there with you. Right there with you. So I want to say, so I was looking at your IMDb as well, and me and Mike can attest to this as well. Stunt training. fight choreography. Yeah, you didn't mention like you like to watch the MMA and the boxing and everything else
Yeah.
every now and then. What got you into that? It was just the art of it as well, or
Well, that was, I mean, as a kid, it was fun. It was from watching movies.
yeah,
And I had this one friend, Nelson, and from elementary school. And so he taught me this thing where we learned where if you throw a punch
mm-hmm.
and you kind of cover up, and at the same time you beat your chest.
Yeah.
And so we started doing this in the front yard, and they thought we were really fighting because they're hearing the impact. Kind of like the trick where you like someone slaps you, but you have your hand right here, and they just catch your hand, So we were doing that, and it got to the point where like neighbors would come out and watch, and then my sister and her friends would be like, "Oh, do it again," because we're when I was a kid, we did taekwondo, so
Nice.
we know how to throw like some kicks and make it look kind of fanciful. So that was the original start of it. And later on, though, as I became an actor, I started learning how to do basic pratfalls and stunts so that I could do it on my not only put it on my resume, but when I'm called to do it, so that I could do it safely without injuring myself.
Right.
So the passion for it started as a kid, but the actual taking time to study with somebody that came from becoming an actor. That was the reason why I wanted to learn how to do it safely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We did stunts for a while. Well, we took the training for it, but they would make us work out first. Like, we had how long we had to run, James? I know we did what 3 laps around this parking lot. Then we had to do lunges because I work out too as well. Now I work out on my upper body, but my lower body is like, so we had to do running in place and jumping lunges. And bro, if you ever do those exercises, your legs is shot for at least a good 2 or 3 weeks. It's painful. So yeah, that was brutal.
Yeah, it makes sense though, right? Because I mean, if you let yourself get too far out of shape, you could just yawn and hurt yourself. So
man,
rolling around and doing all this, you better have like at least the basics. Make sure that the knees, joints, elbows, everything's working all right.
Yeah, man, you're absolutely right about that. And you us talking about this reminded me I need to go ahead and get my stunt reel going, man. I need to get my fighting reel going as well too. So thank you, man. Thank you for the. And we're a lot alike, bro. Because like when I was a kid, my dad was and my uncle was into karate and taekwondo and Wing Chun and everything. And so me as a kid and seeing Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers and everything, I'm like, oh yeah, that's how you do that. And I had like somewhat of a photographic memory, so I would kind of like be able to do those maneuvers. And so when I go to recess, I see kids playing Power Rangers, Ninja Turtles. I'm like, that's not how you do it. And I'm wind up hitting kids, and now my dad has to come in here, and he see me one day with his nunchucks one day. He's like, "Who taught you that?" And I said, "I watched you. Give me that, little boy, before you give me a show." So yeah, man, I definitely can relate to you on that, man. That was that the stunt training and fighting.
The only thing that came close to that, I used to be watching wrestling, and I would climb on the edge of the couch chair and just jump off of it like I'm doing a fly
Zero fear. I remember those days. Stuff wherever you want. Like, I'm cool. I'm all right.
Yeah, I'm all right. I moved the coffee table to the side, and when wrestling was on, I imitate whatever they was doing. So
zero fear, like you said. Now, hold on, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Go ahead, Mike.
So have you worked you did a launch party for Cedric the Entertainer, correct? For like the hats.
Oh yeah, for who said the hats? Yeah, I did. It was cool. It was cool. It was a nice time. People say don't meet a celebrity or idol or somebody that you like. Cedric was cool. He was real nice, I was just starting too, so it was nice to be, everybody's being so cordial and cool. When I was a nobody or whatever, they were just really real nice, real receptive.
Yeah.
I got to meet Warren G too, which was a big deal to me because that Regulate album, in the '90s was just like just changing, right? Because you didn't really hear. This was like before we knew about Nate Dogg and stuff like that. It was the first time you heard somebody come with more of that smooth, like laid back type of a style. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was cool. But yeah.
Yeah, he did say he's a '90s, '80s baby, man. So yeah, man, that era, I think we talked about that one time. Me and Mike was like something about that era right there. Was like they were just in the pocket with music, and it was just totally different, man. So
Yeah, same with like you said about the martial arts. It's almost like they trapped us all. I mean, if you saw the '80s and '90s movies, there was always some kind of an element of karate or kung fu or there was always some kind of a martial arts element to the movie. They were preparing us all.
right.
I used to know somebody I went to middle school with. He took Taekwondo. He was like a black belt, and he was always trying to kick somebody. Like,
Right. That's the big thing in Taekwondo. It's all the kicks. We used to get made fun of because all the other, disciplines, they always have a lot more hand striking.
right.
Us maybe have like the ridge hand, but
Right.
that's about it. Maybe a palm strike, but everything else kicks and flips. I'm like, why am I learning to do a jump, kick, forward, flip? Like, why? How is this gonna save me if I defend myself? But they were teaching us how to do flips. I'm like, all right, okay.
Yeah, man. That's a very very difficult technique to learn too. That fighting technique right there. So
Yeah.
I can't do nothing but applaud you on that one, man. I can do some kicks too, but not like the Taekwondo, bro. Like I have some friends that can do that. So I'm like, dude, that is awesome. How you do that?
I know, right?
Yeah, man. So let's talk about like some of your projects real quick, Poe. But I noticed something that you was mentioning that you a while back you did something called True Nightmares,
Yeah.
and you said that you finally got a chance to play a good guy. So I would say, what are some characters that you would like to portray that you haven't portrayed yet?
You know, uh, I'd like to play. I'd like to play a sinister character, but not one who's outright sinister. More like, think about Anthony Hopkins in Fracture,
Ooh,
where he's a doctor.
Yeah.
He's a doctor. He's an intelligent, well thought man. But when he feels that he's been wronged, he goes to the ultimate revenge. I'd like to play a sinister character, but in that way, by being an intelligent person, being subtle, as opposed to usually I'm portraying like some kind of a tough guy, which I get it. I mean, even from a young kid, man, I remember going like to the junior high school dance
yeah,
and seeing, two kids over here fighting, and I'm just, kind of just
yeah,
look. And the principal, you grab me, and I'm talking
That
about,
was me too, bro. That was me too.
I mean, throughout life. I mean, then I'm in like, I'm a 19, 20, and I go to the house party.
yeah,
And I'm just kind of like, hey, what's going on over here? It's him, babe. Get him. It's him. That's the one. Like, what did I even? So
Just
at a
show up.
certain point, I just had to realize I have a look. There's
Yeah.
a look. I look menacing. I look like a troublemaker in some way. Like, believe me, this is all strategic, bro. This is
Yeah.
very, as soft and nice as I can, because another thing my mentor did for me, which is why it's key to have a mentor, because they're gonna know how to help you. They'll get to know you. So my mentor, before I had even went to like meet a director, go on audition, any of that, they were like, come with me to an event. I need to socialize you.
Yeah.
I just had this look always, like I'm looking for something.
Yeah.
And to me, this is just a face of curiosity. And my mentor, that does not look like curiosity. That looks like a problem.
And you know what, man? I share your pain because that's the same thing with me. Same thing with me. My facial expression don't change. Happy, sad, mad. I wake up, my wife is like, "What's wrong with you?" Nothing. You always Hey, you just can't have a good day. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm happy. Like, this is my happy face. What is the problem?
It's so real. And so I needed that. I needed to learn how to smile and laugh and do those things, you know. Uh, I think it has a little bit to do with, you know, the LA background, growing up in LA. You
Yeah.
feel like you need to, you can't be too soft, you know. So I
Right.
think though, young child, I realized I'm not really like that. Like, I'm trying to be tough and I'm trying to fit in, but it was really just I was pretending. I just didn't want to stick out. You know, I didn't want to be
Yeah.
the guy who didn't fit in. But I think that's why I feel so happy in this line of work. Like, you know, I don't have the mansion in the hills or nothing like that, but I'm just
Right.
so
Right.
because my days of work consist of things like this. Like, hey, but do an interview, you know, I got to run to a phone meeting, reading the script, preparing for an audition. Like this is what makes me happy, and that's what I realized. I think for anyone, especially first starting out, is I think a lot of people like friends, right? Like, you have friends
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
started, they're like, oh, I could do that, I want to do that, you know. And a lot of times people that I had one person actually tell me this because they were just kind of going in a different direction in their life,
Mhm.
not in a bad way, but just we were on two different paths.
Mhm.
And they told me, like, hey, if I wanted to be famous, I could have done that. Do you know who my brother is? I could have been famous. And I was like, that's where you messed up right there.
Yeah, yeah, right,
Mhm.
We
right,
got two different things going on. I'm
right.
goal is to be a working actor, to do what I love, to be a creative, and to be able to pay my bills that way.
Right.
You're talking about fame, you know, whatever. Like that's
Mm.
you. You chase fame. I'm gonna chase the work. I'm gonna do
Right.
that's what I want. That's what I love. So I think a lot of times people mix those two things up.
That you, you know what? Thank you for saying that too, because like we travel to do some work as well too. We'll get what we can here at home, and then if we get booked for something, we'll fly out there or whatever.
Yeah,
And of course, they see whatever you post, and I know perception is what people see, but at the same time, it's like in all honesty, yeah, it may look like we're at this crazy party, but in all honesty, I'm here networking. Like
yeah,
I'm actually working. like I had a yeah work, like that's a part of the work that, like how you said, your mentor brought you along to learn how to network and meet people and greet and socialize. That's a part of what we do. And somebody was saying, it's out there partying and everything. I'm like look, listen, I'm not that. I'm just here to network. It just looked like I'm having a great time, of course, but I'm here to work. To
Yeah.
network.
yeah.
I
And then also too, it kind of separate the ones that really want it from the actual natural true artists,
Yeah.
that the God given talent that God gave you. Because for me, no matter if it's on Tubi, no matter if I'm doing a commercial or whatever, I can look at that and say, I was a part of that. I did that.
Yup.
It could have been free. I was in the background for free. That's fine. And I was there for 12 hours. It's like I did that. No company, no business, no boss or nobody. I went, I sat there, did the audition. They liked what they saw, and I performed, and I got paid for it, and I created it. Like, I helped create that atmosphere, no matter what it is. It could be the smallest thing, but I was there, you
Yeah.
know. And
Because
so, yeah, it came from me through my spirit, and I produced it. Now the world could see it. I think that separates it, because that's a natural high for me, to be
yup.
honest with you. Like, to see that happen, and it's like, man, that's what's up.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. There's definitely a high there.
Yeah.
To also, you know, I'm sure you guys have probably experienced this too. You're working like hard, couple weeks, you're boom, 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 and then that cool down period afterwards.
Yeah,
Like, ah, man,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
I
man,
forgot,
yeah,
what's going
yeah.
on.
You wake up with it like, man, I need to start submitting some more, some more. I need some more headshots. I need to lose some more weight. What I need to do, I need to get
Hey,
back to it.
Yeah.
that's serious, man. Yeah.
Yeah. That's me right now. I'm like, man, look, I need to do something right now because it's just I think for actors and us being men, like we have that workers mentality, and so like when we sitting for too long, we're like, this is cool but not normal.
Right.
I need
Right.
to let me do audition really. So
Yeah, that's real. What did I want? I wanted to share one story as I was kind of like preparing, getting my coffee and stuff, and just to share little pitfalls that I came close to falling into that maybe I can share with someone else who might be watching. You never know who needs to hear it.
Right.
So it was one time I had only done background. I got a role in an independent movie, and it was actually two stories. Okay, so one of them was I got booked for this movie and it was under 5 lines. I was like essentially a featured background dude. And but I got invited to the table read. So I was like, I'm going. You know, I hadn't done anything. I was like, this is my first speaking role. It's under 5 lines, but I'm taking it serious. Showed up to the table read, and one of the top 5 main characters didn't show. He wasn't there. So I'm cool. I'm hitting it off with the director, with the cast. We're doing my thing. I read my little 5 lines. I'm out. Director says, hey guys, some people couldn't make it. If any of you are willing to come back tomorrow for a second table read, I'd really appreciate it. I'm like, yeah, this is what I do. I'll be there. So I show up the next day. Again, dude number 5 on the cast list didn't show up. So he asked me, oh, it happened on the first day too. Second day, he's like, Adam, could you read for dude? I'm like, yeah, I'll read for him. Dude didn't show up to either one of the table reads. And at the end of the table read, the director's like, hey, you know what? Can I give you a call this afternoon? I'm like, yeah, hit me up. He's like, Adam, I need you to play that role. He's like, I feel like, you fit the character, blah, blah, blah. He's like, the other guy, I like him. He had more experience than me. He's like, but I feel like you really have what I want from this character. He's like, and you showed it to my table reads, man. He's like, I want to put you in. So I was like number 5 on the cast list. So that's lesson 1 is show up.
Yeah.
Show up. I mean, how do you think dude felt that was number 5 on the cast list? I'd never been number 5 on the cast list since then.
Nice.
And dude, he missed out on that. I'm sure he did not feel too good about it. We're going to the premiere, and that's me, my first speaking role in the movie. That leads me to my second story. Thank you, bro.
Yeah.
Just for these little pitfalls, watch out for them. I'm on this movie. I'm just excited. I'm happy. I'm the Mr. Smiles and that. It's all good. And one of the lead actors, I won't even say what movie because he still does his thing. He's out there.
Yeah.
But he had been on TV, like he was making TV appearances. I had only been in background, so it was like he was like the big dude, big man on campus. And we're doing a stunt, and I accidentally, my shin connected with his shin in the scuffle. And so he stayed professional in the scene, though. Like he stayed in the scene. We worked it out, and I was so hyped up, I didn't even realize our shins had made contact. So as soon as the director yells cut, I go back to my original position, and the actor, he comes up, just gets in my face. He's like, Adam, first of all, you didn't sell it when you punched me. He's like, you need to cross over. Da, da, da. He's like, second, you effing kicked me. I mean, he was just up in my face. And I was like, man, like I was almost, honestly, homie, I was almost in tears, bro. And because I was just like, I can't let this dude trick me out of my position. I can't do it. I went and got some ice. I was like, bro, I'm sorry. That was not intentional. I apologize. Like, dude, I was really, really about to break down.
Yeah.
And this dude saw that in me, though. I could see he saw it in me that I was like at my cracking point. Yeah. Then out of nowhere, I'm crafty service, having something to eat, whatever. And I see that same dude is talking to another actor, and the other actor explodes on him. What'd you just say to me? Well, I don't need to. I mean, the other actor goes off on him. I'm like, huh, I wonder what happened there,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we wrap up. It's, we're ending the day, and I was still new, so I was like telling the crew, I'm like, hey, you need some help? I'll help you with this. I'm like helping people load up and stuff. And that one actor, bro, as I'm kind of like getting something, he's getting ready to go to the car. He just walks up to me. Look, he's just like looking at me like a snake or something. And he looks at me, gets right in my face, and I'm just kind of like, what is this about? He was a smaller stature dude. And I'm talking about full gusto, bro, with all his little strength, both hands, boom, pushed me on my chest as hard as he could. Like, and I was like, and I remember I had that shock because my instinct is I want to just take flight on this fool.
Yeah.
But and I remember he did it, and his look in his eyes was like he wanted me to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just looked at him, and I just like, I was like, all right. I was like, come here, fool. You need to give me a hug, bro.
Give me a hug, man.
Dude gave me a hug. Dude I was like, we're good, homie. We're good. We're good.
Yeah.
Maybe he felt some kind of way because I did hurt his shin.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'm not a big dude, but compared to him, I was kind of a big dude.
Right.
And in that moment, I felt there was really an opportunity for me to step out of character and to lose everything. You know, and so I would just tell people, watch out for that, because you never know who's going to test you, who's going to make sure no one's looking around and give you that double-handed fist push to the chest and say, what you going to do about it? You just never know. So I'm thankful that I didn't have a crazy reaction to step out of character, but I took that with me. I took that with me because there's other people who are not so overt about pushing you. Other people will push you using their mind. You know what I mean? Like, not like telekinesis, but in subtlety and being slick. You know, you have to just be careful with those things.
Yeah. Nah, that's a great story, and thanks for sharing that as well too. Because we hear different stories about like some like that happened, but when you in the moment of it, you like, wait, what is going on here, man? Like, what is up, man? So
Yeah, that's crazy. Because it's like the old story. James, you know the actors' names. I forgot, but the iconic part on the Temptations, "Ain't Nobody Came to See You, Otis." He really, that actor. I think it was Leon. Yeah, Leon really was getting underneath the actor's skin in real life. So, because that part wasn't supposed to have been there. Like, "Ain't nobody came to see you, Otis." That wasn't supposed to be there. Yeah, and the actor was like, "Hey man, like he's really, talking to the director. The director talked to Leon. He said that's what I'm supposed to do."
Yeah.
And they kept the scene, didn't they?
And they kept the scene.
Yeah. It's crazy you mentioned that too, because it's been some moments where I had on set from some independent projects where I improv a line or two, and I was like, "Oh, they kept it," and I was like, but right when they say cut, I'll automatically say to the actor or to the director, "I apologize. I just want to try something to see." And he's like, "No, that was great." Like I'm like, "Oh, okay, all right." Thank you. So it's just like you said, yeah.
It means you made a bold choice for the character. You know what I mean?
Right.
It worked because the choice made sense. That's the key part. You can do those bold choices as long as it really makes sense, and then the director's gonna love you. You know?
Right.
Yeah, because like once someone told me like you are the artist and we're giving you a canvas. You're the artist, so you can't make it robotic. Like you're reading lines at this point. You have to put some emotions in it. So as an artist, you have to paint a picture.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. So I want to ask you about this real quick. So you met a few. You met a few goats, greatest of all times in your book. A few of them to mention. Let me see. Method Man.
Yeah.
Danny Trejo.
Yeah.
And another one that in your I'm trying to pronounce Pepe. I don't know why I always every time I say Pepe is a name like that. Pepe Cerna. That's what I always try to get his last name right when I see. I know it's like Pepe is one of those characters, those people that you like. I've seen him before.
Oh yeah.
Like, wait, what is that? But like, oh, Pepe Cerna. Yeah, man. So like, tell us about the time when you met some of these individuals, or the experience behind it, or what did they share with you, or what did Pepe share with you? Did he share anything with you, or how was that when you met him?
A lot of kindness and encouragement.
Mm-hmm.
Pepe, I went to the I think it was the 20 or 25-year reunion for the American Me, right? I'm sure American Me. And so he was there along with, a lot of the headliners of the cast. And he already knew my wife prior. They had met. And so he was just really, really encouraging. I tried pitching a project to him. He was actually receptive to it. He was like, yeah, you get it down, I'll read it. So I mean, that meant a lot to me. That was a big deal. Method Man, it was cool meeting him because he really embraced the Mexicans, bro. Like we were in LA and he was around all the the gangster looking Mexicans, and he fully embraced them and they fully embraced him. And it was just like pictures. He was showing love to everybody. And I made a silly joke that I regret to this day.
Oh man.
Yeah, man, I shouldn't have done it because it was kind of like, you never know, it could be unintentional, you know. It could have seemed like I was being mean or something, but I didn't mean to be. I was trying to be like funny. But yeah, Method Man was cool with me. It was getting late, and he saw me kind of doing the stomp and trying to stay warm. He's like, "Hey, you cold?" He's like, "Come here." I'm like, "What's up?" And he was like, "Stand right here." And in the liquor store we were filming at, there was like a little vent for the freezer, but outside is blowing hot air. He's like, "Here, 5 minutes, you'll be cool." I'm like, "Oh man, he's just a real cool, down to earth dude." So I had seen him interacting with everybody else. So when we wrapped up, I felt confident enough to be like, "Hey, is it cool if we get a picture together?" He's like, "Yeah." So me, the picture, I'm like, "Yeah." So jokingly, I said, "Man, I was like, what did I say? Something to the effect of, man, everybody's saying you're kind of snobby, man, but you're hella cool." So kind of like, you can see his face change. He's like, "Hey, homie." I'm like, "What's up?" He's like, "Hey, who said that?" And I was like, no, man. I mean, like, no, nobody said that. I'm saying, like, I'm joking. I'm like, I didn't think he'd be that down to earth. But you can see his whole demeanor, like, who said that? Who said that? And I was like, bro, I was trying to be funny. He's like, all right. But I saw his energy change toward me. I was like, my bad, fool. Like, I love you.
Well, hey, we all have those moments, man. We're like, wait, I'm like, my bad. I'm sorry. Like, yeah, man. It's hey, I'm pretty sure you're not the first. You won't be the last, man. I'm telling you, man. I actually met Redman. I actually worked with him as well too on this film called Hip Hop Family Christmas. Cool guy. Me and my friend was like talking to him, and my friend, he was like, "Hey, Red, I met you a while back before." He said, "Oh yeah," and he said, "Yeah." Was I high? He said, "I don't know." He said, "I probably was." And he just ran off, and it was just like, dude, he was just so hilarious, man.
It's funny. It's funny. My aunt, she's not in the acting. I love my aunt dearly. She's the one that'll tell you like how it is. This was years ago. She was working at, I think it was at Frenchie's, Popeyes on Homestead, and it was random on the north side. Like no celebrities come on this side of Houston, and Redman just popped up at Popeyes in the hood. And she was working the night shift. Well, not the night shift, but like the evening shift. They closed up at 12, and they was closed. And Redman was at the drive-through, and she was like, "Hey, I want some food." And she said, "No, we closed." And he said, "You know who I am?" And my aunt said, "I don't give a damn who you are."
Mm-hmm.
And that's when she later found out. She was like, "Yeah, I remember him. He pulled up at Popeyes." It's like, that's Redman. At the time, that was when High So High came out, and they, Redman and Meth was doing their thing, bro. They was like dynamic duos. They was, man, and then that's when she realized, like, oh, that's him. Yeah, he pulled up at Popeyes. I was like, that's Redman. She said, well, I told his ass we closed.
Famous last words, like, do you know who I am?
Yeah, do you know who I am? Do you know who I am can go both ways, but 9 times out of 10 it's gonna end up in the wrong way. Like,
right. Too hilarious, man. Too hilarious.
How was your experience on I know this, man, we are fans. So how was your experience on Snowfall?
Oh man, Snowfall was cool. Snowfall was a lot of fun.
What episode were you in? Because I finished it a while back. Like,
it was season 2, episode 2, 3, 4, and I think I got cut out of 5. So yeah.
Okay, so were you in the scene where they was running through a house party in the Mexican neighborhood?
No, I wasn't in that one. I was with the Mexicans at the junkyard.
Okay. I remember that one.
Yeah. How did the scene go, James? You remember?
Yeah.
No, I remember that. No, I remember that season when they got into it with the with the Mexicans, and it was
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. The Monarcos. Sorry. Yeah. The Monarcos.
There we go.
Okay. Yeah.
I couldn't find the correct name, and I'm like, I don't want to just. I'm like, wait, what was the name of the group that they got into it with? Because that was like early in Franklin's first run when he was really starting to get into that
Yeah,
game.
get into the game. I know it was like on the last season or close to the last season. It was him and the wrestler was running through a Mexican neighborhood. Oh, that was so funny because they had to hide in basements.
Oh, man. Yeah, man.
Oh, yeah. We talked to. We actually had a producer that was on that worked on Snowfall, and she was telling me how she just had so much fun on that set, and then everybody was like really close, like a real family, really took care of each other, and that's what like when I was looking up, I'm like, oh man, he was on Snow. I like definitely had to get you on here and talk about.
Yeah. A funny thing happened on Snowfall because we were shooting. We were in the hood, like we were in LA, and so at one point we're leaving this restaurant that we're doing the scene in, and we go back to base camp, and you can see this one dude, hey homie, hey, because I have a tattoo on the side of my head, fake. I'm all dressed in the Pendleton, looking like a G.
Yeah.
And he was like on the verge of like hitting me up. He's like, hey, what are you doing here? And I was like, we're filming right here, bro. I was like, this is all fake. He's like, oh yeah, I know. Like he knew, like he's nah, I know who you are. I'm like, you don't know who I am, bro. But he played it cool when he understood I'm an actor. I'm not a gangster. I ain't none of that. So that was cool. But then so we come back, we're filming a scene, and my co-star, I'm in the restaurant, but my co-star is at the door having somebody come in, one of the main characters. And so we're just setting up the shot, we're blocking the shot, whatever. But something real happens. And like, you know about firearms on set, right? Some of them are actually real.
Yeah.
Dude has a real 45 tucked in his waist. He's dressed like a G from the 80s, so he has like the bandana on, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just chilling in the restaurant. I'm not in the shot. I'm just kind of like just chilling, watching. And he's at the front door of the restaurant, 45 in the waist, right? Like some chick pulls up in a car. It's a full carload full of people, but it's a female on the passenger side hanging out the window, bro. Like,
yeah.
And she looks at him. She's like, "Hey, homeboy," and he's like, just not paying attention. "Hey, homie." And he looks over. She said, "Hey, what's up, Bessie? You writing on my walls?" like asking him, "Where you from? Are you like, don't be writing on my walls."
Yeah.
And he just looks at her and he just like smiles, like not knowing how to react. And she's like, "Hey, you heard what I said?" And I just walk up to the front door. I'm like, "Fool, get in here, dog. Like, come inside." I'm like, she sees you with a pistol in your waist and she's still pressing you, homie. Like, come inside. It's time to get inside.
like, dude, if you
get smiling at this lady.
Like, dude, get in here, please. You call a problem for everybody, dude. Those be the funniest classic moments when you trying to film something and people like ride by and like they're like, "Hey man, what you doing?" Like it's just classic moments, man, like that.
Yeah, those LA politics. I listen to them and it's like the stories is crazy. I remember Snoop was telling a story about when he was shooting Training Day, and he goes, I guess the location manager or whoever didn't know what neighborhood that was. And so Snoop is in the wheelchair with all this blue. He said, man, look at all these people with all this red on.
What are you doing to me?
He's like, what? He said, I called one of the homies. Hey man, who over here sell the weed? He's like, yeah, he over here. He's like, man, give me some weed or whatever. You say, that's how you get your politics right, man.
I'm a customer now.
I'm a customer.
Yeah, now I'm a customer, man.
Yeah.
Oh
man, Adam. So yeah, I would say that, man, you've been in so many great projects. From independent to well known. Like you've been in American Horror Story, Shameless, SWAT, Born to Hustle. But what has been your very favorite character that you portrayed so far in everything you've been in?
My favorite character. Wow, that's a rough one.
Well, a few of your favorites.
Yeah, I guess because a lot of them were fun to play.
Yeah.
Like, which one did I like? I think probably the most fun one that I got a lot of good feedback from was when I played Detective Silvieri. But I liked it mainly because people felt like it was believable. And for the first time, I wasn't playing like a street dude. And so to me, I think that was the most fun, where I got to be working in concert with the LAPD, and cool story about that one. or maybe I shouldn't say, but anyway, we were driving, we're smashing through downtown LA in the detective vehicles and this and that. Between you and me, bro, I didn't even have a driver's license at the time.
Oh, yeah.
I remember being day of, because I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, and the script says I'm smashing through downtown LA. But until day of, I'm just not thinking about it, and nobody asked me. Like, and so I was like, we're doing this. Like, we're just going to knock this out. I got a driver's license now. I'm cool. Great. But at that time, at that moment, I was like, we're doing this. So I'm just smashing through downtown LA, no license, in a police car, flashing lights. It was so I think that, yeah, Detective Silvieri, that was the most fun I had playing the character.
Man, that's dope, man. He's just like, well, we here now. Hey.
Hey. Yeah, man. It was fun.
Yes, sir.
Man, yes, sir, man. At this part of the show, we kind of ended off. But before we leave, any gems or any advice to anyone, to our audience, on helping them through their acting journey? I believe you dropped a lot of gems, but we just like this part, we like to highlight it to the end, just to give somebody a helping hand out there.
Okay, it's gonna go. Everything I said still applies, but I think at the core of everything I said, it comes down to it's gonna sound a certain way, bro. It's gonna sound so simple, but it really is true. It's you really have to believe. You really have to believe that you can do it. That it's you have to believe that it's a goal worthy of achieving. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
When you put yourself in that mindset of belief, believing you are going to do it, all of a sudden opportunities that maybe wouldn't have even came on your radar, now all of a sudden you picked it up because you know in the back of your mind and in the front of your mind, you know what your goal is. So now when you see that ad in the newspaper for no experience needed, background actors immediately, if you don't have the belief in your mind, you're just going to pass that by. Your mind won't even let you see it. You know, your mind will it'll gloss over. So the core thing is to believe that you can do it. And part of that I talked about already, where for me, the goal isn't about becoming famous. The goal was to be a working actor, you know, and part of something that helped me to believe was when I realized that you could walk down the street and you could walk past a dude who's a working actor, making his money, paying his bills, feeding his family, but you would never know who he is. You could walk by him and you have no idea who he is. And that, to me, that's what made it more real, whereas like, this is just work. It's a job like any other. And if I chose to become a carpenter and I went to carpentry school and learned how to use measurements and different types of woods and this and this and that, I would be a good carpenter. So when you look at it from a realistic point of view, this is work. It's a craft, just like any other craft. Some people build buildings, you know, we build movies, we build stories, we build moving pictures.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I would say is the core is believe that you can do it. And after you have the belief, everything kind of falls into place.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Man,
Yes, sir.
those some gems that have been dropped, man. Man, Adam, man, bro, thank you again for coming on the show, sharing your stories. I'm definitely positive somebody's gonna really look at this and like learn a lot and appreciate what you shared, man. And so thank you again, man. So yeah, bro. Tell the audience where they can follow you at or find you at.
Okay, yeah. For the most part, I'm active on Instagram. That's the one app that I check in on the most. And on that, you could find me at Adam Mendoza 598. That's the handle on Instagram, and that's usually where I'm most active.
Cool.
Awesome. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, actor Adam Mendoza, man. Love them stories, bro. We definitely gotta have you come back on again.
I'd love to, man. And fellas, again, thank you so much for having me on. It's cool. I love to talk shop, especially with fellow actors. So it's been a good time, guys.
Man, appreciate it. Thank you.
Appreciate it.